Order 4 just say Akwatia by election no na egusu and the live coverage we edit bro. Order 4 sisi an ejebo eja enya ba bidu counting no just say ya county area just say uhwe provisional results na eba na uhwe ye NDC 4 and AD nkunim against NPP order 4 yesi nka uhwe mu ye anka NPP stand the chance of winning but uhwe mu a just NDC ni no anase NDC 4 na jisia no omudi nkunim ewo Akwatia honom odofo nti ejebo provisional results no na babeto dwa yesi NDC ena edi nkunim ewo Akwatia eye by election nti enche Akwatia fo so mbenya omo representative ewo parliament odofo NDC na beko anase eye NPP na beko bibia etrese NDC 4 ena omo wi ni odofo final results the back no the bechi na yenko tie provisional results so far in favor of NDC number you see Ghanatube so.
And there is a celebration behind you, and we're going to keep an eye on how things are playing out because the polling station AME Zion Church, we have that result as well. As declared by or announced by the EC officer in that AME Zion Church polling station, Bernard Bedu of the NDC polled some 118 of the valid vote cast as against the MPP Solomon Asimedu 107, the LPG 0, rejected ballots 3. Now we also see that same story play out, and interestingly, Kemeni, the bus terminal in Bwedwa, you hear Musa Dankwa reference Bwedwa a number of times. The NDC Bernard Bedu polled some 323 of the valid vote cast. The NPP Solomon Asimedu 111. 323 as against 111. And this is a difference of over 200 votes. Now, in the valid vote cast, there is 434. Rejected ballot 2. This is the bus terminal in Bwedwa. Then you have the Bwedwa Presbyterian JHS new block. We also have that results coming through right now. NPP's Solomon Asimedu 109 as against Bernard Bedu 98. So you see in the Bwedwa area, the polling stations, NPP and NDC are winning. But when you look at the margin of victory at the polling stations that the NDC candidate wins, the margin is wider as against the polling station that the NPP candidate wins. So for example, let's stay on this one. For the bus terminal in Bwedwa, the NPP candidate polled 111, that's Solomon Asimedu, as against Bernard Bedu 323. That's a difference of over 200 votes. Now, in the same Bwedwa area, Presbyterian JHS new block, the NPP candidate polled 109. Then you have Bernard Bedu of the NDC polling 98, a difference of just about 11, as we've seen there. So a 200 vote difference in one polling station in the same area, Bwedwa, then in another that the MPP wins, just about 11 votes difference in favor of the MPP candidate. The same in the Bwedwa Presbyterian JHS old block. So there's a new block. The old block polling station had the NPP's Solomon Asimedu polling 117 as against the NDC's Bernard Bedu 98. And guess what, Kemeni, for the first time we are seeing at the polling station, the LPG's Patrick Owusu polled 2 votes. 2. Yeah, so at least he has something to his name. This one at the Bwedwa Presbyterian JHS old block. 2 votes for Patrick Owusu of the Liberal Party of Ghana, Kofi Akpaloo's party. Fast forward, if you go to the Palace Square A. Palace Square A. And I want our viewers to pay attention to the bottom of the screen. All what I'm reading to you right now is scrolling at the bottom of the screen. So pay attention to the bottom of the screen because we're updating the results as they come through thick and fast here on your election command center. And so as you just keep an eye out there, we're giving you all the polling station results coming through on the ground from our people who are stationed across the 119 polling stations. We have a strong team already at the coalition center where all the action will take place and the final declaration, official declaration made by the Electoral Commission as to who has won this Akwatia by-election at the end of the day. So stay with us here on your Election Command Center. Palace Square A, expected voters were 482, and per the provisional results put out, the NPP's Solomon Asmedu 192, NDC's Bernard Bedu 79. That's Palace Square A. Let's go to Palace Square B. NPP's Solomon Asmedu 194, NDC's Bernard Bedu 74. That is Palace Square B. Now, this is how things are playing out because, and Kamini, I know you have Musa Dankwa with you, and as you did indicate, there's quite some work that has been done ahead of today. Let's take a look at what he found out, Kamini, in this particular area, the Buedua area, and what we are seeing now, that both MPP and NDC are winning at the polling stations in the Buedua area, but the margin of victory for the NDC is wider as against that of the NPP.
Indeed, very much so. And Musa, I think that's something that you had alluded to a little earlier about, where the MPP could have its numbers in Buedua and where the NDC could have its numbers in Buedua. I mean, based on the numbers that your people are also collecting, what are you seeing in Buedua, East and West as a whole?
In the exit poll, Buedua West, where NDC wins, NDC was getting around 60% or more of the vote there. And in the Buedua East, where MPP must win, they were getting around 53%. So they were quite below par. And if that kind of numbers pan out, and that's what we are probably seeing now. So in the Buedua East, you see the gap narrow. In the Buedua West, you see a very wide margin for NDC guys.
I mean, if at the end of today, Solomon is not able to, based on the projections you are making, that his performance at the end of today is likely not to surpass that of, the late NS Kumi. Is this a rejection of the candidate? Or could we even call it a rejection to start with, of the candidate or of the party?
I think it's more of the candidate. This one, it's more of the candidate. Because if you look at the support the candidate was getting among the elite voters in Akwatia, it was quite bad. His support was coming just from the junior high guys. And even with no education, it was split in the middle in the polls. I'll have to look at the demographic in the exit poll to show us. But the exit poll will not show us true picture because of the ethnic groups that were not telling us the truth. They were probably telling us something to make us feel that, make them safe in wherever they are, because they are a minority in those areas. And it's not very uncommon. It's very common in the consensus where those ethnic groups are minority and they are kind of dominated by their Akans. When you are in that environment, I will not tell you my vote is quite right, or I voted for Mr. A, meanwhile it was Mr. B that he voted for. So those may account for some of the differences we'll see in the exit poll. But the poll was showing neck and neck, almost 2 points between MPP and NDC. And when NDC is behind by a few points, it means they are ahead. I've said this several times that NDC always outperform the polling numbers. So when I saw the gap in the exit poll, I knew NDC had won.
But I mean, because we are looking at candidates to candidates, head-to-head comparison of the candidates, when we look at the fact that the NDC is also performing better than their 2024 candidates, right? Is this a matter of Bernard Bedu being, endearing, or it's also a matter of the NDC backing of this candidate, or maybe even both?
Boachia Dome was very unpopular. If you speak to people across the constituency, you could hear that. And I think tactically it was good for him to have been replaced. And we did it with this candidate. And unfortunately for MPP, they went first to pick a candidate. So NDC knew which one could be better than the MPP one. So they went for lawyer Bernard Bedu. Now, if you look at the stature of these personalities and how they can handle issues regarding parliamentary affairs, certainly the lawyer would do a far better job than a minor.
You think it played a role?
Oh, yes. I mean, there was a lady I heard on Facebook. She was saying that they are struggling to encourage their children to go to school because of mining. Now, if somebody comes there and he's trying to promote mining, it means her kids will look up to him as a role model. But she wants the case to look at the lawyer as a role model.
But it's a mining community.
But the problem is that majority of the voters in Akwatia have senior high and tertiary, and they're not in the mining pits.
And of course, there was a negative publicity against him. They said he's a galamsey. And that is what
but I think
got
he's denied
from...
those. He's denied those accusations of being a galamsey. He's also denied.
So once you have, if you lose the elections in general, then it means that what you denied.
The propaganda works against him.
Yes.
I see. But I mean, generally, what's been your thoughts about the numbers that we're seeing? Again, Musa Dankwa is telling us that when you look at the numbers, right, where Beidou loses even, its numbers outperform Wache Yado, right? So what could be working for the NDC from your point of view?
Well, my brother said it could be the individual differences. But we also need to think about.
For when they say polling stations, one I say when they say provisional results are better to dry. Yes, NDC is in a comfortable lead. Now, Mr. Beginning in bro, our Ghanatube of former if you say mobile like no subscribe, no share, no hit notification bonus on my send a bear. I bring here be a drop content see a who when you're in pan watch me with for aha, and I made in seminar be see or Ghanatube so. Macramunina, Madamina, see.